Thanks for joining us again, Michael. Saturday was an excellent performance for around 65 minutes, and it was probably a good point at the end. But Rotherham will be tougher than most people expect, won't they? They had a win at Derby, and they played well at Stoke earlier in the season. So yet again, another tough ask for the club.
Yeah, tough game. I think a different type of opposition, obviously, from what we faced on Saturday. We expect the game, Rotherham very direct. You have to earn the right to play in the game. I felt in the game at home, it was a constant battle. Conditions were difficult that day as well. So yeah, look, we know having faced this team, and obviously a team that's been promoted there, every game is a real cup final for them in terms of how they approach it. They had a very good result Saturday, a big 3 points for them against a team obviously in at that end of the league as well. So we have to make sure we're right for the game. We're going to have to be brave and try to
You must be mindful of the 3 games in 7 days, and you've just mentioned a difficult pitch, but the weather conditions for tomorrow are suggesting it might be more beneficial for ducks than people, and it's almost going to be another heavy pitch. Will you look at the team selection in view of that, with people like Allen having played games and not being fully fit up until now, and Cousins probably champing at the bit to get on again?
Yeah, we'll look at those situations. We have to be mindful of Joe, that he's still relatively early in his return to play. He's not had a 3-game week where he's obviously started 3 games. So we have to, and this week is excessive because obviously the Watford game has been brought forward as well. So yeah, we look at those scenarios. I think the pitch was demanding on Saturday, and we're probably in a phase now where the pitches are going to be demanding for the next 6 to 8 weeks in particular. So those are all factors that we have to think about, obviously, when picking a team to start this game, and the nature of how the game will be as well.
Well, you're going to probably have to make one change at least. Are there any injury updates? Is Powell fit? Fletcher fit?
Yeah, Nick's fine, and Stephen Fletcher is available again. So those are obviously boosts for us. I thought Nick was very good for us on Saturday, and we missed him when he went off, I think, at that period in the game, and having Fletch back, and I think he looks, I think hopefully now we have him back and fit and injury free, because I think possibly, and he's come back maybe a little bit earlier, not been maybe moving as freely as we would like, but certainly from the initial knee injury, that's healed completely, and the recent groin injury is healed from as well. So hopefully he gets a run of games now, when he's ready to start, and can stay injury free.
And has the jury decided if James McLean is available again, or?
Yeah, James is available. He obviously missed Saturday's game. He realises that what he did was not in keeping with the guidelines or how the club would like to see the players behave. So we've dealt with that. He's accepted his punishment, and we move on from that. And again, James is available for selection.
When you look at how Stoke have been playing and the game management, there are a lot of people pointing out that Stoke have lost 12 points from winning positions, and you yourself have said that it would be better if Stoke could be more clinical with the final ball. But if you could just turn those corners and dead balls into goals, you'd be in a much higher place in the league, wouldn't you?
Yeah, look, I think we looked at all of those situations with the team actually earlier in the week prior to the Blackburn game, and I think we were, after the first, if you look at the table at half time, I think actually we're at the top of the league, and we've been in a situation where our second half performances haven't maybe matched what we've seen in the first half, or we've lost points, and that's disappointing. We have to look to address that. The players have to look to address that, and it's difficult to pinpoint why that is, to be honest. The same way as I think it's difficult at this minute in time to pinpoint why there's a discrepancy between home and away form for all clubs as well. So, but we just recognise that that's something that we have to make sure that we don't let those situations slip as often as we have done in the first half of the season. We obviously did that on Saturday, but the important thing was we showed character to make sure that we took something from the game, having gone down to 10 men as well. So that was a big positive for us in that situation, given that it was a very young team that started the game also.
Given the positives, you had 15 attempts on goal. Thompson was outstanding, and the back four plus the new additions. You must have been very pleased with the way that first 65 minutes went and how quickly those players bedded in.
Yeah, we were, because really, they've only the two, Norton Davis and Clark, have obviously only trained 2 days prior to the game. Matundo was in for a day or 2 days before the Leicester game. So again, it's good to see young players come in and settle in straight away. And I definitely think that, both Robbie and Reece give us energy, and they gave us real pace as well. And we got it on both sides, with obviously Reece at left back and Robbie playing wide off the right. So, as we've talked about, we felt we needed to get more pace into the team. And I think the three players that we've brought in on loan have done, offer that. Hence the reason why we brought them in. And I think that translated into the type of performance that we got on Saturday.
And I'm betting Stephen Fletcher can't wait to get on the end of the crosses. He'll be pushing Powell out of the way.
That's what we want. We feel that we at times we've been a little bit short in the box. We adjusted Nick's possession on Saturday, where he played almost like an inside left, sort of narrow off the left, which I think dovetailed well with Jordan Thompson and Reece on that side. And obviously he was a goal threat. He had other attempts on goal. Great finish for the goal as well. So yeah, look, I think we just hopefully get Fletch in the second half of the season, that he gets a good run and stays injury free, because I think what he has demonstrated to us in the first half of the season, that he's more than capable of scoring goals at this level.
And finally, from me, any more transfer news? Anybody going out or coming in?
Certainly not anyone more coming in at this minute in time. I think now we've got to look at the opportunities for players who haven't played very much or on the periphery of things to find another opportunity, and that takes a bit of time. Obviously, we're not totally in control of that situation, but if we do anything further in the transfer market, I think it'll obviously be driven by whether anyone leaves the building or not.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ange. George, you need to unmute, and then off you go then, please.
Thanks for joining us, Michael. Obviously, as you say, it's stretching the squad, isn't it, really? These games run on top of them, particularly this week where they're really condensed into a short space of time. It's stretching the squad to the limit, isn't it?
Well, it is. The players like to play, and I think that you can't like make 10 changes to your team either, because you don't have preparation time between the games to obviously work on things. It's very difficult to do that. So look, we are probably, in terms of our numbers at this minute in time, they're probably higher than they've been at any point in the season. We're seeing our injury list clear up, and that's a positive for us. And going forward, obviously, we hope we maintain that. When everyone's fit, our numbers are slightly too high, and that will hopefully maybe be trimmed before the end of the transfer window. But yeah, look, we need to be as fresh as possible for the demands of the games, and obviously the significance that the games have at this point in the season.
Ideally, as a manager, you like to have continuity, Michael, but it hasn't happened too much, particularly in this spell, has it?
No, it's been challenging, and we knew that. And I think this season as a whole, you were never really going to get that continuity either, because of COVID and because of the injuries that subsequently we've had, particularly in the attacking areas. But as I say, hopefully in the second half of the season, we have a little bit more breathing space in terms of the schedule, and that'll give us the chance to try and add that little bit of consistency and continuity in terms of the team as well. Obviously, we were able to change the system back to a 4-3-3 at the weekend, which I think helped us, and hopefully we can maintain that going forward.
You always wanted competition with places, and certainly you've got that in the number one position. Joe is playing really top drawer at the moment, isn't he? But the other two keepers are back in the fray, aren't they, Michael?
Yeah, Joe's been excellent. He's a young goalkeeper, and he's exceeded probably where we thought he would be at this point in time. Our anticipation was that he would spend the season at Doncaster and then come back and challenge at the start of next season. but he's been fast-tracked into a situation because of the injuries to both Adam and Angus, and he's grasped that opportunity with both hands. I think in the games he's been excellent, made good saves when we've needed him to make them, given a good calmness, I think, in terms of his distribution. I think he's what you would expect in the younger modern goalkeeper now in terms of his ability with the ball at his feet and his distribution. And so we're delighted with what he's given us since he came back in. And as I say, the competition for places is healthy. We probably we're going to have to find a way to get 3 goalkeepers into 2 realistically. And as I say, but the opportunity's there for whoever comes in, should they get the opportunity to play well, then to stay in the team. And that's how I've approached it and how I'll continue to approach it.
Moving on to Rotherham, they scored 1 or 2 goals, but they conceded an awful lot, Michael. That must be very much in your mind to make certain that when you have the amount of chances, and you're having an awful lot at the moment, you've got to be more clinical, as you've already alluded to, and really put the game to bed early, haven't you?
Yeah, look, I think Rotherham are a team that, come up with one priority, and that's to stay in the league, and that's there's no shame in that as a promoted team, and they got a big result on Saturday. They've been finding results a little bit more difficult to come by in recent weeks. It'll be a different challenge from Saturday's game. A more direct style of play. We'll have to match their battling qualities, the physicality of the game as well. We have to be ready for that, but we have to be brave enough to play as well, because as we saw on Saturday, we want to be a team that is progressive with the ball, speed, can get the right intensity, and that's the challenge for us, to replicate that performance against a different style of opponent in the game tomorrow night.
You pick a pitch when you look at the pitch, Michael, and obviously the opposition, and there's a lot of snow in South Yorkshire at the moment. Do you rotate the squad with that in mind, particularly because you've got a game very quickly on top of this one tomorrow night?
Well, we'll have a look at it. I don't think we will rotate just for the sake of it. We'll rotate basically if we feel we need freshness in certain areas. If you look at Saturday's team, for example, I think someone had told me it was the youngest Stoke City team for 15 years. So we had, I think, 6 to 7 players, 22 and under in the starting 11. So that gives you an indication. They'll be able to play again, I assure you of that. They're young lads that they're hungry to play. The lads who have come in on loan, how the likes of obviously Robbie and Jack Clark haven't played a lot either in recent times. So I think we'll be able to freshen the team up, but we'll not have to make some significant changes to do so.
And also the players that have come in, particularly the players that you got on loan, and of course the ones you've signed, they'll want to start, won't they? They'll be champing at the bit to get the green light to go and start in the lineup, won't they, Michael?
I think so. Hopefully that's the case for all the players. We didn't bring any of the players here with the guarantee of game time. We brought them here on the basis that they would compete to be starting players for us, and that's we felt on Saturday it was a bit much to put 3 of them into one situation, given the lack of training time. Obviously, all 3 of them played in the game and had significant game time. So, yeah, look, competition for places is good, and hopefully, as I say, when you bring new players in, you get a reaction from the existing players in the building, and as I say, we need to see that in the second half of the season.
Good luck tomorrow night, Michael. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, George.
Dave now, and then we'll do the writers. Thank you.
Michael, supporters are speculating on Stoke City's current form. I mean, no wins since Christmas, only 1 win in 10. And they just come up with things like, Tyrese, it's all to do with Tyrese Campbell's injury. But it must be much more than that. What do you put it down to?
I think you can look at statistics in many ways. We've obviously played Leicester and Tottenham Hotspur in that period, which I think including, you could say in the league, I think we've had 1 win in 7, but we would have 1 loss in 7 as well. So, we've clearly drawn too many games in recent times. We're aware of that. And really, we've been a little bit blunt at the top end of the pitch. That's been the biggest factor in terms of not winning games and turning the draws into wins. You're right, Tyrese has been injured. As I talked about, Fletcher's been injured, Gregory's been injured. So none of that helps you when you've got that scenario and we're not scoring goals. But we addressed that at the earliest opportunity we could by bringing in 2 attacking players in Clark and Matundo. So hopefully, as I say, we'll see that improve in the second half of the season. If I look at the game on Saturday, we created more than enough chances to win the game. We're unlucky not to be at least 2 ahead at half time. And we just need to find that, that clinical streak in us that will help us win games. But, from the performance point of view, I was delighted with how we played. And the fact that we're creating chances gives us hope that obviously we'll get back to winning games. And tomorrow night gives us the opportunity to do so.
Is Lee Gregory any nearer to getting a start?
No, Lee's not fit yet. He's still with the fitness team at this minute in time. Hopefully he'll be back training with us next Monday. And then it'll probably be a week of training before we're really able to consider him. So he's still possibly a couple of weeks away.